Hey, Production Zone 1, you're finally back! Welcome back! Okay, unless this really is, but anyways. Greetings, Soulswind here, and welcome to Let's Play Infinifactory. We have moved to a new region! Because we're now free, look at this! And this region's name is the Homeward Bound Fleet. And the puzzle name is actually Navigation Computer or Navigational Computer. Okay, this is solution 1, and because it's exactly the same as solution 2, all there is will be just like basically optimization. So I removed some additional blocks, like fine-tuned some of these like weighting and whatnot, and then remove some of the additional conduits and all that stuff, and then like what else, some of these like spaces here, instead of like weighting here, I added a few more weighting over here. I'm not going to even run through this solution right now. Instead, I'm gonna go to solution 2 and then like basically like run through the solution. So I'll see you back here in solution 2. And we're back. This is solution 2. Almost exactly the same, right? Because I sort of like took a long time to find out that, hey, it is needed for like, you know, something to be at the back to weld the components, these, okay, those two and this one, to the circuit board provided over here. And so let's get a quick look, right? So yeah, I have to have some structure at the back to weld the components to the circuit board, and this is our submission right here, over here. So I really am very happy with my solution, because like this is something really interesting that I've implemented, and I want to show off this solution. So all I did was just basically optimize, and also I'll be able to explain how the solution works. So I just optimized to like have some weighting and holding spots over here, and then also reduce the number of unnecessary like you know, pushes and blockers and unnecessary conduits that have been too long or whatever that is. So basically just like reduce, and yeah. Now, firstly, this structure right here is supposed to move away. It's supposed to move away to here, so that, you know, the circuit board can move in to go for welding. It's suspended, so we'll need something to hold it, which is why this exists. Basically, this will extend to hold it, so it's suspended and not attached to anything. Okay, this one can be removed, but I'm just gonna leave it there because like the footprint's already taken. It doesn't add to blocks. Anyway, this can like, you know, move away. And now the thing is that we have got these two conveyor belts, one to move it away like that, okay, and then another to move it back. But if we have one that moves it back already, why do we still need one more here to like, you know, move it further? That's because this one right here basically says that, hey, over here it's 2 blocks away, so it's gonna be 2 blocks less before it reaches where it needs to go, and then it's gonna fall downwards, and it's not good because there's nothing to support it over here, and there's nothing that's supposed to be there to support it because, you know, the circuit board's gonna move in. So I need to give it more momentum with the help of this one, okay, this block over here, to move it all the way to where it needs to go. And for that, yeah, it has to have this extra momentum given by this one and also by this one to move in to the edge over here, so that, you know, it can fall in place. So let me just show you later, but for now, okay, you can see that this thing has got like a few welders. Okay, not very good to see from here, so let me show you from here. Like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so if we were to go around here, right? Okay, those 7. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So basically on the backboard, there's only like one for each of these pairs, because the rest that are not movable, they just stay on here, like, you know, just basically over here, and the ones that are movable are there. So like, you know, this is just here, it's like 2, and then that's just 1, it's just 1, and that's enough. Like, you know, one of them is being welded to the board, the next one is being welded to the one that's beside it, and pretty good. Similarly, like, there's 2 over here, you can see these 2 over here, and then it's just one corresponding one at the back. And this one, there is no lines. Why? Because this will have to move in place when this very big component comes in. So it needs to give it space to fall in, and then moves into place to weld it. So it is currently away and is able to move in later. Okay, now let's see. Let's move this away first. Alright. So I'm gonna show more about this thing later from this side. Anyway, it has to support it so that it doesn't fall, yeah? So therefore there's this little support over here. The components are being timed like that, so they'll each wait at one of these stations, and then when all of them are there, so you know, like once there's like 4, the first one will be here, so it would trigger these to like push it downwards, and then this is just like a counter to just count the number of components. So these are all spaced out properly so that they're timed properly, and these are also functioning the same. And this is closer because it needs to have like certain timing to reach this area before being welded and whatnot. Anyways, so the component's gonna fall down here, and it's gonna be here, and it's gonna cause this to extend to block it, like, you know, you saw from there. It's able to like weld here and not fall further to this portion because like the component's down there. Then once the component is here, it triggers this pusher to extend so that the next component is here and can be welded by this welder. At the same time, when this component is here, the last one at the very top is falling already, and it says that, hey, I think by now it is possible for you to send this over for welding already. Alright? It's possible to send that over for welding so that, you know, like it needs to take some time to move over, right? For the welding, and therefore I should send this over before the last one falls. Otherwise it's like it's wasting time because we still have to wait for this to come in. And yeah, so it's saying that, hey, by the time this one comes here, the next one is about to reach here anyway, so you should really start moving. And maybe later I'll try to experiment if I can just move this one further down to this here instead. So yeah, anyway, when that happens, you know, I'll show what this does. Alright, okay, so basically the other one just falls straight down and just falls here straight forward. Now for this one, the 2 that are here, it's pretty complicated. Alright, so what happens is that they are all supplied by this one line over here, this one line, so all 4 falls down here, okay, to here. What happens then? Basically, the first one falls down, goes to here, and then waits here. Alright, so it will trigger the sensor to say that, hey, I'm going to extend this pusher to block so that the next one will be able to weld over here by this one. Also, I'm going to extend this pusher at the same time, this one, because when the block reaches here, the next block would be around here, and it's shifting into place to come here already. So it is in time to say, hey, not only do I want to extend this, I also want to extend this so that the next block that's following the one that's supposed to be here don't fall too far down. It has to be here for these 2 to weld it. Okay, and the other one just stacks on top of the preceding component. So it has to extend. By the time the first component reaches here, the second would be reaching here, and the remaining 2 will have to like fall onto whatever extended platform this one provides without falling further. Therefore, this is the triggering sensor for this pusher right here. Next, there's this platform. This platform is to hold the big like component. Alright, it's supposed to hold the big component, and when the big component comes in here, then this is supposed to come in and weld. Why not from the front? Why not from the back? If it's from the front, it blocks this thing from moving for submission, right? So this one is gonna block this for submission. So we'll need a mechanism to like retract this later or whatever. And if it's at the back, it will still block one of these components, like the smaller components, like over here, like these components. So if I have like the welder at the back over here, it's gonna block one of these things. So it's not good. If we're having the welder at the front, it's gonna block everything, including this big component right here. So that's not good. And it's like really deep inside. It's not like out here. It's deep inside, as you can see from here. So it's like at this area. So we'll need to like retract it twice, and that's not good. Now, there's something really special here. Like, you know, this is the blocker that's extended, and this is like the pusher that's retracted. When the component reaches here, it's supposed to block, right? But it stays blocked. So what happens? Because the component is here, it will always stay blocked. So what we have to do is that, you know, there needs to be something else to tell it to retract this one and allow this entire board to move towards this side for submission. This is being powered by this one. So when the thing moves in, it means that it has welded everything. Okay, when that structure moves in, it just means that everything has been welded. So why don't the board start to move? And therefore, once the structure is here, it's saying that, hey, I'm done, we should start moving. And therefore, this is being retracted for, you know, the board to start moving. But we need the board to move, right? So it also extends this over here to say that, hey, I want to tell the board to move. Okay, so what's this sensor for? Basically, like I said, you know, the structure reached here, welded everything, and say that, hey, I want to retract this one from the blocker over there, okay? And at the same time, extend this to help the board move. But when the board is moving, alright, the components will move away from this sensor that tells this structure to move towards that side. So once this is disabled, this sensor, this one, sorry, is disabled, what happens is that now it no longer says that, hey, I want to keep this structure over there. So the structure is going to move away and deactivate this sensor that has got this conveyor belt to help the board move. And if the board is not moving, then it doesn't go to submission. So this sensor keeps this extended, basically. And also, it's connected to everything, right? So it also keeps this retracted so that they can all move properly, because this has to stay retracted so that every of the components can move along for submission. Alright? And that's how it works. Let's have a look. Okay, it comes in here. Okay, right, it arrives here. The components start to fall like that. Okay, the components start falling like this. Okay, like that, falls in there. Okay, so now let's just have an overview first before we look at each of the individual components falling in place. And also, once that was there, you see this is actually moving forward, so I should show again. Okay, there's one more that is being deactivated as the board moved a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, this one over here also gets retracted, so that's okay. Yeah, so it moves away. So together with the structure behind, you see it move away. The remaining ones are being held here instead of like waiting behind, so that's better. Alright, so it comes in here. These components are already in place. It's not affected by the board. It's okay. So they just come in here, and then it says that, hey, I want these to move in right now, and like, you know, just come into weld. So you can see the components falling in place again. Okay, so it falls in place. Alright, this one moves there. okay, and then says that, hey, okay, I can move that in right now to weld, okay, like that. So now let's experiment. We don't want to use this. Instead, let's use this sensor. Will it work? Let's try. Okay, so this comes in here. All right, comes in here. Okay, I'll show how this works. Basically, you see this, okay, they wait and then they get pushed like that. They get pushed along together. That one is by a counter because that one needs to be at a different location, therefore uses a counter. All right, okay, so they all fall in place through here. All right, down here, gets supported. This one comes in here for welding, okay, moves along together with the board, okay, and then there, this one moves in. All right, when it reaches the bottom one, it tells it to come in already because it's almost time to like weld. So that's that, and then it moves along, and these new components can then fall in place and tell that to come in here again, and that's how it works. Okay, so let's see it from here. Okay, they fall in place. Alright, you can see that it gets changed once the last one, like, you know, the bottommost one falls in place. And then this one moves over there, gets welded. This is clear, so we can not go through because like there's an invisible wall, of course. So this one comes in here for submission together with the one at the rear, you know, this structure. Right, then this one comes in here again, okay, gets welded and then moves away. So you can see that when this falls in place, this moves in, but it's not being welded until the rear structure moves in. Then you'll see a bit of like yellow. Yeah, you see that little yellow thing over there now? That will weld it, and then it moves away. Okay, so this one will retract. So you can see how this works. This is also really interesting. Look, now this is the blocker extending to weld and like basically to block this one from moving further, and also like, you know, like there's this like being blocked here too by the sensor that's over here at where my cursor is pointing, right? So everything's welded. Now this stays extended, look, but this now retracts, which will disconnect this from that conduit, and therefore it will retract also, and that's how it works. So yeah, let's have a view like that. You see, that one reaches here. That tells it to like retract a little bit so that it can move a bit out of the way, so some of the other blockers and whatnot can retract, and then they can continue moving. Now the thing is that maybe this one like is being extended for too long. This one. So can I have another one to retract the thing, like, you know, this mechanism right here? Can I have something else so that it just smoothly goes in without it being jarring? Right, let's see. Can I have one more here? Like over here, so that it's not as jarring. Let's see. Yeah, it's gonna be a few more blocks just to reduce it, like, you know, like make it not as jarring. So let's see. It comes in here. You saw that it's a bit of like, you know, jarring because it's just like waiting suddenly, because waiting for this one to retract. So now you see it moves straight. Okay, so let's see. Before I make the change, this is what happens. So it comes in here. Alright, the components move into position, and now it's going to move. You see, it waits a little bit and then moves. Alright. Okay, so now with this addition, basically 3 components, 1, 2, 3, and also yeah, no extra footprint, because it's already going through here, so no extra footprint, just 3 more blocks. Okay, the board comes in, the components move in position, and without pausing, it just slides in. So it's better, isn't it? It's more, like fluid movement. So it flows straight to submission like that. So it's better. And yeah, it's a factory, it should be as fluid as possible, and therefore that's it. So yeah, we're just gonna have an overview like this because this is pretty cool. I really like my solution here. Really, I'm very happy with my solution here. Oh, I realized I didn't explain this one. So basically, once it removes the block, it's gonna allow this to move in. This is waiting here. This is basically moving in there. That triggers this to block again. So as long as there is a board over there, this is blocking. So that's fine. And then when this is here, the next one is being blocked. So that's okay. Okay, so this one moves in soon enough to here that will block this one over here. Alright. And when it moves in, it extends this one again. So it's enough time for it to move in while this is retracted, and then extends this again to prevent this from moving. So that's okay. And yeah, so let's continue watching. It's really fast. It's of course not the best solution, but I'm really proud of my solution right here. And yeah, definitely not the best though. But I like this mechanism, this sliding mechanism that I've since used in earlier solutions, the optimized solutions, some of those satellite, anti-satellite gun or whatever that is, yeah. So of course it's nowhere near the best, as you can see here. It's just above average, and 392 was my score for solution 1. Since this is not far from solution 1, there's only a bit of optimization, 375, because we made some changes to the weighting point where we remove the jarring weighting over there, and we just synchronize when the structure moves in. So we moved that conduit a little bit, so therefore we have slightly better score of about less than 20. This one also improved by just a little bit. It's just optimization on this solution itself, and this one also only improved by about less than 20, in fact 19. And again, this is also a bit of improvements, but because my purpose was to reduce the number of lengthy conduits and whatnot, therefore there is slightly more improvement here. Slightly more improvement, not slightly more improvement here by about 30 plus. So yeah, again, it's below average. Well, it's fine. I really like this solution a lot. It really feels really awesome to see this sliding back and forth like that. Just awesome. So yeah, I just want to show again. This is just so cool. The components falling in, and then falling in. Okay, and the first time round, the board waits for the components. Subsequently, the components wait for the board. Look. So yeah, don't need to optimize the components coming in too soon. The first time round, it's board for component. Subsequently, it's always components for board. So it's okay. Yeah, that's it. So yeah. And this one just happens to wait above here while this welder is in place. So pretty cool. And just drops in place. So that's really good. And that's it. So yeah, I'm just gonna reset that, and let's talk to our friend here. No, just kidding. Yeah, let me know what I can do to optimize this a little bit more without changing the entire layout and all that. Just a little bit to optimize this for slightly better scores. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll see you next episode. That's all I have for now. Have a nice day.